Okay, guys, we're doing a part 3. Now, some of you may not know what the terms of dry brush is or a wash. And some of you do. Some of you may have other techniques that you do that you like better that I'm unaware of. And that's how we learn. So feel free to comment and tell me how you do it. What we do here is we get that gray paint. And like I said, it's an acrylic. And it's water soluble. So we get it into this kind of consistency right here. Like a thick soupy kind of, you don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too watery either. Get you like a little, 2-inch brush, camel hair brush, and just start working this in. Now, like I said in earlier videos, Gotham is old. It's beat up. It's weathered. It's a dirty, dirty, dirty city. And you want to be able to bring that out in these brick, okay? Now, when I said textured paint here on the cornices, yeah, it's a shortcut. And I don't like doing shortcuts at all. Let me see if I can get this thing zoomed back the way it was. My big-ass thumb got in the way. Excuse my French. But there's not going to be that new gray mortar look. So the wetter you make this stuff, and it's already got the black on there. And the last video I just did of the black, spraying the black, literally a minute had passed. So before I started this new one. So when I rattle can it on these cornices, I'm kind of cutting corners, but I can go back in. These aren't such big surfaces that I can go back in with a black wash and save myself just a tad bit of time. Now, it doesn't have to be precise in these corners because I'm going to start spreading this mortar again, this homemade mortar, which is the sand and Elmer's glue mixture. And I'm either that or I'm going to spray the textured paint. So if you don't get right up in here in the corners, it doesn't matter because when you start doing the spraying, it's going to overcast it anyway. And that's for your final dry brushing and cleanups. So let's get down in here. And we'll see if we can start seeing this brick. Now, I hem-hawed around about this project for weeks on end, or for actually days on end, let's put it that way, about how I was going to do this brick. It felt like weeks because there was so much stuff I had to look at. There was stuff on eBay. You can order this brick masonry HO scale. And then, like I said, I'm not the smartest when it comes to scale, because just because something's like quarter scale doesn't mean that every figure is going to be 18 to 20 inches tall. Now let's talk about Yoda. Yoda is only 3 feet tall. So 1/4 scale on Yoda, you take the 3 feet tall and you divide it by 4, and that's how big the quarter scale will be. Batman is 6 feet tall. So somewhere a little bit over 6 feet tall. So a quarter scale puts him around 18, 19 inches tall. So scale is a hard thing. A lot of times it's just a mathematical thing, and if you're Sheldon Cooper, that's not a problem. If you're Keith Taylor, then that's an issue. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm no mathematician. So you can tell how that gray wash has gone into the crevices, has sunk into the porousness of the clay. Not the clay, but the mortar. And right here, that works out to my favor. See how that's all starting to wash out the clay? Or not the clay, but the sand. Sometimes I do clay, so excuse me when I say clay. I don't mean there's any clay on here. The clay was an expensive way to do it. This makes it look like weathering and something's busted a brick loose. So that's what I call a happy accident. Now, this piece right here is a 1x1 strip. And I had gotten some G.I. Joe stuff in a big, huge lot. And this corrugated roofing looking thing just so happened to be in that box. So a lot of the stuff I do, it's just what I happen to come across at the time. There's no rhyme or reason. And I try to purchase as little stuff as possible. Like I said, I'm not Bruce Wayne. I'm a disabled veteran. and I don't have billions of dollars of disposable income. So everything I do, I have to hodgepodge. I make a lot of trips to the junkyard to find pieces that work. So the best way I can tell you is get this item in your head, how you want it to look, and then start looking for things to fit to bring it to life. And that's what prop makers do. You know, when they did Star Wars and lightsabers and stuff like that, they had a working thing of what George Lucas wanted, and they came up with hundreds and hundreds of different prototypes for him to choose from until he chose what he wanted. So basically, in that instance, George Lucas had it in his head what he wanted, and they just had to like come up with hundreds of different things for him to choose from until they hit the nail on the head, which is extremely hard. But when it's your head that it's in and you're doing the work, you eliminate all of that guesswork. So it's up to you to bring it to life. Okay, let's do these cornices and I'll end this video. And then as I move on to different stages today, I'll upload a couple more. Now, see when I do this, hopefully you can see how it's starting to bubble and suck that stuff up. That's why you want it wetting down to a point to that soupiness, because these pores in this sand, in this grain, watch. See how it disappears? They're so minuscule and small, and you want that. You want it to soak it up, because that's what you're trying to do with this wash. You're trying to get those little minuscule pockets filled with color, and you don't want to overdo it to where the surface is so thick and gloopy that you lose that black wash, because then you just wasted all that work and the 98 cents for the paint and the dry time and all that. So now when this is done, I will do a dry wash of a thicker medium dry brush, and I'll do different shades of gray until I get the stone the color I want it to be. One thing I learned in school when I took art classes and stuff, pictures and drawings are basically groups of color that come together to form an image. And especially when you're doing stuff like all you guys that are into like CAD and graphic designing might back me up on it. Some of y'all might think I'm stupid, but it's like you see pictures of, like, I got a Batman t-shirt and they took yellow, grays, and black words in bold type and formed an image of Batman out of words. I've got a Joker t-shirt that the Joker image is formed out of ha-ha-ha's. But that's the best way to look at it, is it's just colors bringing things to life and forming an image that the eye can pick up. And that's the thing. Now, it's not hard to do this, guys. You can do it yourself. I'm not a pro, like I said. Yes, I took high school art. I do a lot of online reading, stuff like that. But anybody can do this. It's not that hard to do. And the old adage of practice makes perfect is absolutely, completely true. It does make perfect, because I've got pieces that I've done that I'm like, my God, I spent this much money on this figure and I've just completely destroyed it by putting the thing in this stupid looking display. But that's learning. And as time goes on, you come to appreciate and love what you do. So, that being said, there's a quick tip. Also, this Cash Express is a check payday loan thing. They come around our neighborhood and drop off sleeves of these things. I'm talking like 150 of them at a time as an advertising ploy. And normally I'd be upset people leaving stuff laying around my yard, but that's free. And I don't have to worry about cleaning them. I use them, I throw them away. I've got an room back here. Back in that room right there, there's a huge walk-in closet, and it's full of stuff that I use. If I've got the extra money, I'll go to the craft store and I'll pick up stuff that I'm not even going to use to work on a project. But I'll be sitting in my armchair and I'll come up with an idea for a project, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I got this stuff back there from such and such, and I got it on clearance for blah, blah, blah. When you see that stuff, pick it up. You're walking down the street, you see like a little round plastic piece that looks for the world like a manhole cover. Pick it up, put it in your pocket. Take it home, throw it in a doodad box is what I call it. And then when I need something, I'll go dig through it, and I'm like, hey, cool. I guarantee you, and I promise you, that every single piece that I have ever picked up off of the ground that most people would call junk, I have eventually used. It might have been 10, 15 years down the road, but hey, it's this big. It fits in a shoebox. I have used every single thing at some point or another. So with that, stay tuned and we'll move along.